Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood. In this series we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget of $50. It's day 93. Let's check our progress. Thank you for joining me today on day 93 of the budget versus free-to-play experiment. I got a comment the other day. We have a green border around the free-to-play account today. We have an orangish, kind of goldish border around the budget account. And then if I do go to my main account, it has a red border, fuchsia. If I knew what fuchsia meant, I think that's fuchsia. I'm just going to call it red. It's a red border around the around my main account. I got a comment from James the other day on one of my videos, and he suggested maybe putting a border around each of the accounts. That might help a little bit with some of the confusion, and so I didn't know that might be an issue for anybody, so I think it's a good idea though. Anything that I can do to make things a little more clear, that doesn't take me very much effort. If that helps somebody, I'm happy to do that. So yeah, if we go over to the budget account here, we're starting on a champ training tournament that has a legendary book at the top of it. I'll go back over to the free to play and I'll show you tournaments today. We should probably look at the calendar for the fusion also for the Halfspawn. I just love, he's a half spawn. He's not a full spawn, he's only a half spawn. And I wonder, is that politically correct anymore to call somebody a half spawn? Isn't that maybe a little bit bigoted? I don't know how political correctness works in Teleria. Maybe he's got a big chip on his shoulder though about that. So Dragon Tournament as part of the half spawn fusion. Yeah, we have this rare at 2250, pretty standard Dragon Tournament with an epic book at the top. Might be worth feeding some energy into for me, especially because it's times on speed. And then the Champ Training Tournament, you can see that we're already starting to work on that. I didn't push any extra energy today just because at the time I'm recording this, a Dungeon Divers event just started. I'll show you that too here on the calendar, but yeah, you can see legendary book at 11,000 points. 11,000 is quite a bit to get for a tournament, but it's not complete. I don't think it's completely out of reach. So we'll go for that also. So that means we are going to be picking up a few copies of the rare. You know, I may try and fuse a copy of the epic, just because it's a cool design, but I think he's a good epic. We have Classic Arena Takedown coming again in a day. Like I just mentioned, the Dungeon Divers event just started, and you know, that's a 3,700 points is pretty high level there. That's a lot of Dungeon Divers to do. At least this one is a 3-day. And then Summon Rush, I'm just going over this. I'm not going to go for this fusion on either the budget or the experiment account. I still really haven't decided on my main yet, but so Bauf. Is it Bof or Bauf? I think it's Bauf. I like Bauf. Bauf the Rancid. So he looks like a badger, which I love. And I know there's some skunks that look kind of like that too, but to me, he reminds me more of a badger. We have badgers around where I live that kind of look like this. I mean, they're not standing up and holding weapons, but I don't live in a place like that. But yeah, anyway, 5,500 points is a lot of points to get the epic. I mean, if you have 11 sacreds to use on something like that and you don't feel like that's going to deplete your resources too much. The problem with this Summon Rush is the progressive that they put on. This progressive that they put on, especially for the Void here, you know, a Man-Eater, that's a really juicy one. I mean, you know, a Georgette is great, but we don't count on getting legendaries on the progressive, although these two accounts have been extremely lucky. But that almost makes me more cautious because I know it doesn't work that way, but it almost makes me more cautious. Like, well, we've probably used up all the luck we have. But a Man-Eater here, that just... And we already have Ursula the Mourner on the budget account. She would be great on the free-to-play also, but Man-Eater, because we didn't get the Wixwell, we didn't start early enough to get the Wixwell fusion done on either of these accounts. It just makes it really tempting for me. I'm not sure what to do about it. I don't have a lot of Void Shards anyway. See, we've got 4 Void Shards. On the regular chance, on the 8% chance of getting an epic, I don't think it's worth the risk of using the Void Shards that we have available to us just for a chance at getting a Man-Eater when we'll probably just pull 4 rares. the high likelihood is that we would just pull 4 rares on that. So I don't think I'll go for it, and I'm not doing the fusion. We just don't have the resources to get it done. But I thought we'd go over the calendar just in case you might be interested in doing the fusion. Like I said in my video yesterday, I pretty much said that I don't think it's a mistake to skip this fusion, but I also don't think it would be a mistake if you go for it either. I think he's a perfectly legitimate fusion, a good damage dealer. It might turn out to be a mistake not to go for it. Maybe. That's always a risk, especially if they buff. I also heard that one of his skills might be bugged, and if they fix that, I don't know what that's going to do. And there's always a risk of going for a fusion if it's an unknown, but he doesn't do anything super unique. The Hex for a damage dealer, there are only a few champions that do Hex that are damage dealers also. If you have a Ruel, the Huntmaster, or even a Thylesia, I think, Thylesia is a pretty good debuffer that does that also. Michinaki does it, and he has decreased attack and decreased defense, but the debuff spread that this Halfspawn has I almost feel bad keep calling him that, but that's what he is. He's a Halfspawn. So it's just descriptive. That's all it is. There's no judgment. It's just descriptive. We have the drop fever for the speed gear going on, obviously. And then it looks like at the end of the weekend, we're going to have Spider, it looks like, with a drop fever. And I don't know what that's going to be. Skorid the Halfspawn. So training, now we're in that overlap with Dungeon Divers, Dragon, and Champ training. We'll also have Classic Arena Takedown and then Artifact Enhancement tomorrow too. So really busy Saturday and Sunday. It's funny, I just was looking at this. I didn't realize that the deals, that they put some of the pack deals in the calendar. That's, man, this calendar could get kind of out of control really fast if they keep doing that. Yeah, so they have a pack deal and special weekend offers there at the bottom of the calendar. And then down here they have the Forge Pass listed. It's a really busy part of the weekend here. And then it looks like, another Dungeon Divers starting on Tuesday morning. So early Tuesday we'll have another Dungeon Divers. The Dungeon Divers are big. If you do have enough Sacreds, I would say if you are going for this fusion and you have enough Sacreds, I would say it would be worth it to try and get the Epic, just so that you don't have to go to that extra effort of doing the Dungeon Divers to get those rare copies. It's a lot of points, and it usually goes over the points necessary for the Dungeon Divers events and even for the training tournaments. If you're using campaign to train and you're collecting resources there, that gives you points for Dungeon Divers, but usually it doesn't come up to that level, so you end up spending more energy on dungeons. So I don't know. That's my feeling on it. Yeah, if I do decide to go for this fusion for the Halfspawn on my main account, I'll probably try and get the Epic. Although that's going to deplete all of my Sacred Shards on my main account. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. We have a day or two to decide. On the free-to-play account, we may go for a few Ancient Shards at the end of the weekend, just because we have a lure on the progressive chance. I mean, I would really like to get a Newt. But that's, you have a 0.5% chance with Ancient Shards. I don't want to spend any Sacreds or Primals this weekend, especially since I'm not going for the fusion. I would like a chance to get a Newt, but that's not very much of a chance. And with all the other legendaries in the game, it doesn't increase your odds that much to have this, even with this progressive, which is better than 10 times, but it's still very unlikely that you would get it. With an Epic, it may be a possibility. It's just I don't want to pull more than maybe 10 or 20. So I'm thinking about it. I'm considering it. With the budget account, I would probably go for Deacon Armstrong, since on the budget account we already have HP burn with Skrank. Mordecai's a really good burner. The advantage Mordecai has is that he has a place. I think Mordecai would work well if you could get him in a set of reflex gear. He's got a 4-turn cooldown. After it's booked, he has a 4-turn cooldown on his AoE HP burn. And it's a little bit too long to be that useful in Hydra, but he can be very useful in Spider too, especially if you're using some kind of a reset strategy to burn the Spiderlings. You'd either do AoE stun and burn, and then just watch the damage tick away, or freeze. That's the other way to do it. Yeah, because we have Skrank on the budget account, I would probably go for Deacon Armstrong. But I think an Allure would be really nice to have on the free-to-play, since we already have an Allure on the budget account. But I'm thinking about it. I don't know. We have quite a few. Well, it's not that many Ancient Shards really. Maybe 10 to 20 we could pull, just to see if we to give ourselves a chance to get an allure, I think that might be good. And we'd get a few smaller rewards maybe on the free-to-play and on the budget, but I'm definitely not going to go for the fusion. It would deplete our resources too much, and I'm not sure that we could actually achieve it. But I am working on champ training. On the free-to-play, we've been, since I'm here, we did pull the Packmaster yesterday. Haven't done anything with him yet. On the free-to-play, I'm kind of debating. Seer seems like a no-brainer, really. I mean, she's so good. I don't have her geared very well yet. I do have her in 4-star, and I did pick up a blessing, a 2-star blessing on her, and I did put it in Crushing Rend because a lot of times, if you're clearing wave content, you get the advantage of the first hit anyway with the Crushing Rend. So I think Crushing Rend is always the way to go with Seer. The 6-star is obviously better, but I think even with the low stars, I think you still go with Crushing Rend on Seer. But I have been debating because we have Mausoleum Mage. He's a very good cleanser, very good champion. We have High Katoon and Padma and Tagore. All 4 of these epics are very, very good. Eventually, they will all be 6-starred. And even a Fellhound, he's going to be 6-starred too. He'll become our campaign farmer. But not yet. Maybe I should go with Packmaster Shy because he can do the AoE block buffs that would be very useful for us for Hydra. Also, I'd really like to do a Cornelia. Cornelia's she's a great champion. A lot of options. I just have to decide which one to go with. Also got a comment the other day. I'm going to go back over to the budget account here. Yeah, that border, I think that looks good. I like it. Let's stick with that. We'll stick with that one for the rest of the time. On the budget account, to me, it's got to be Cardiel with the next 6-star. There's no question that Cardiel needs to be the next 6-star, and I've already been using him in quite a few areas. I did enhance some of his artifacts. Got some protection gear. See, I don't know if you can see that above me, but I've got a triple speed on this weapon, which was nice. Didn't get any rolls into speed on this crit rate glove. I need a better chest for him. That's not a very good chest with the flat attack, but it does have a little bit of speed, and that's what I was going for. Do you see this quad? I got a quad crit rate. Now, before I rolled this quad crit rate, right before that, I want to show you. This is crazy. Okay, you think these accounts are lucky? Watch this. This is insane. And I rolled both of these up consecutively, okay? Protection set. Look at this shield. Oh, you can't see it through me. Do you see that quad crit rate? Now, crit rate is not the best stat for a protection set, but anytime you get a quad, and especially if it's crit rate or speed, either one, you're kind of happy about it. Quad crit rate. And then, so that was the shield. And I had that on Cardiel before with crit rate gloves. So obviously he had way too much crit rate. He still does. But so I took it off and gave him a speed set. But then right after I rolled the quad on this shield, I rolled a quad crit rate on this helm. I kind of looked at it. I didn't even believe what was happening. It was weird. Quads are, if you don't know, the chance of doing that, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's extremely unlikely, and I have very few of them on my main account, and I've been playing for, over 3.5 years. To roll 2 quads consecutively like that on the same substat, I thought that was insane luck. So I wanted to share that with everybody. It's weird. I didn't need it on him. I mean, I'll probably use that shield on someone else when I start using protection. I didn't mean it that way. When I start using more protection set on other champions. But I like Cardiel in a protection set, but there's there's a lot of ways to build him. But yeah, Cardiel's a good damage dealer, and so you do want to have him with full crit rate. But you can see I've got him way overcapped on crit, and I have hardly any crit damage. So I would like to put some crit damage gloves on him. I just didn't have any that would work with the protection pieces that I had that were okay. So yeah, this early game gearing is kind of difficult. I just thought that was the strangest thing I've ever had happen with gearing a champion. Just really, really strange. And like I said, I don't know what the odds are, but that happened. If we can start getting some chests in Hydra and pick up a pair of crit damage gloves for him, that would be really nice. Then I could bring that shield back in for this early. His speed is respectable at 216, and we've got some respectable stats at a level 50. He's a great champion for this game, very useful. The other comment that I got though, so after we get done with Cardiel, we'll 6-star him next. The other comment that I got, because I said something the other day about my nuker situation is a Thel. She's still in lifesteal gear, don't even have her in Savage. And I wanted to make Zavia my next nuker, but because of the book situation, the suggestion that I got in the comments, and I'm sorry, and I don't remember the commenter's name, and so I apologize for that, but I thought it was a good suggestion. He uses Slixus as his nuker in Arena. That was kind of hard to say. I didn't expect that. And Slixus, he said he hits really hard and that he likes him as a nuker. So I'm willing to try it out and maybe build Slixus as a nuker in the interim until I'm able to collect enough legendary books to then maybe transition to Zavia, or by that time maybe I'll be using Zavia in this account for wave clearing if I get a couple of good poisoners. So that's something to consider. So let me know in the comments if you are going for the fusion, if you like the idea of maybe me pulling some ancient shards this weekend to try and get one of those epics, or maybe even a newt. That would be really good. I mean, if we can you imagine if we got a newt on these two accounts, or one or the other, then it almost looks like somebody's trying to help me out. You know, it's like somebody's trying to hold my hand. It's like when your dad lets you win at sports when you're a kid. So yeah, that would be too much. But any of these legendaries would be good on both of these accounts. I use and like most of these legendaries. I didn't go for Aostrid. I do like Aostrid. It's just I didn't have the resources at the time on my main account to go for Aostrid, but I wish I had been able to. She's a good one. But yeah, Newt's a beast, and everybody should have at least two. And Queen Eva, with the buff that she recently had, she becomes viable. And I have had her used against me. You know, when I use Sun Wukong in Live Arena, for example, and then they come back with Queen Eva, that's one that I have to consider banning most of the time just because she has the block revive. She can be a good one too, and she can be a campaign farmer. I think you could actually build her as an arena nuker and a campaign farmer if you were to pull her. But like I said, we've already got too many legendaries to build as it is. I would be hoping for probably a Deacon Armstrong. Deacon Armstrong would work really well for this account because we already have an allure and we already have HP burn with Skrank. And maybe as you get further on in the game, you have the luxury of maybe picking and choosing, you know, for each situation which AoE HP burner you might use depending on, you know, what you're facing. I like Deacon better than Haikatoon, although I still like Haikatoon. I think Haikatoon is underrated, but I think Deacon is quite a bit better. And Deacon can make things work in a lot of clan boss compositions also. Yeah, so let me know if you're going for the fusion. It's a lot to do this weekend, so yeah, you want to pay attention to the calendar and pay attention to the events going on. I just pulled the first reward on Dungeon Divers, and I haven't even done any Dragon yet. It's all just been on the Champ Training Tournament. More Core Hammers. The Core Hammers don't have the impact that they used to. Did you get that one? Core Hammers impact? Okay. The Core... Sorry. While you're here, I was just going to sign off, but while you're here, I'm just going to collect my chests for the day. We only got one each. Our clan isn't killing Brutal and Nightmare all the time anymore. You know, as a Cruel set goes, crit damage and crit rate is nice as that goes for Cruel for a 5-star. Yeah, even though there's no speed on it, I'm keeping that one. Another 5-star Cruel. Oh, but that's a bad one. That's too bad. And no shards today. Well, that's not helpful. I'm going to start my clan boss key on the budget account. Let's go over to the free-to-play and check what we got there. Just because I'm curious, I thought maybe you might be too. I don't know if somebody's moved on from the clan, or we did have, you know, like a few weeks ago, we had a major player in the clan. You know, he sort of dropped off, and I don't know what's going on with him, but he's still technically in the clan. Just haven't seen him log in. Epic book, that's nice. And nothing there. See, this is one where I debate. I don't know if maybe this is helpful for early game players. Yeah, we're still using mostly 5-star gear on both of these accounts. HP percent is a good one on Immortal. Crit rate 100% is always something that can be useful. You never know. A lot of champions need 100% crit rate just to land their skills. Yeah, I'll hold on to that and check it against what else I already have. Sometimes I forget, what other shields I might have in a certain set. So I keep them and then I look at them and then I decide if I'm going to sell them or not. But that's all I had for today. Like I said, let me know if you're going for the fusion. If you're not going for the fusion, which events are you going to be participating in that will help your account grow? And that's the main thing for me, is going for the legendary books in the champ training tournament. Hopefully we'll have a champ training event also, because we can't do enough champ training right now with both of these early game accounts. So it helps us, and then we can farm some legendary books that way also. So that's going to be my strategy. I may try and go for one of those epics, but it's not a guarantee. I may want to hold on to my ancients just for another 2 times weekend. We'll see what happens next weekend during the champ chase, as opposed to the summon rush this weekend. Yeah, we may have it 2 times. That's all I had. I did want to say, thank you to those of you who have commented. I don't always see all the comments. I do try to, but I don't always see all of them, and I don't respond sometimes to the ones I do see. But if you have made a comment or something and you think I'm ignoring you, I'm not. Thank you for making the comments that you make. I think it's helpful for everybody who if you're looking at the comments, or if you have questions about certain things that are going on in the game, and it helps me sometimes. Just like the 2 comments that I got the other day, it always brings some things into my mind. It jogs my mind and makes me consider other possibilities that I might not have thought about too much before. So I really am grateful, and I'm grateful to all of those of you who have subscribed or have given me likes on videos or something. It makes me feel good. It's very helpful, I guess, for this process, the YouTube thing that I'm very new to still, and I'm still learning what I'm doing, and well, hopefully I'll be getting better at it, and I can't get any worse. So, but thank you for your kind attention and all other kinds of attention. I've been Wood, and I appreciate you.